Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. Lovely to speak to you today. Maybe we could just kick off a brief introduction to this incredible thrill ride, this horror. What can people expect when they watch Baghead?
Yeah, hi, Sarah. It's a pleasure to be talking to you and to be presenting. Actually, it's the first interview that I give for Baghead, so I don't even know where to start. Yeah, it's been quite a trip because I shot the short film is based on in 2017, at the end of 2017. So it's taking almost 6.5 years to be at this point. So I don't really anymore what to do with the movie and where I'm with it. So yeah, bear with me at the beginning. So let's get a bit into the thick of it.
I guess, like you say, it's based on a short film. So a while ago that you will have first come up with the idea, but casting your mind back, what gave you the initial concept? I mean, because it very much feels like it's set within the trappings of a familiar horror film, but the central concept of this sort of shape-shifting figure in the basement, where did that idea come from?
To be honest, the idea came from Lorcan Rayleigh, who was the writer of the short story. I was at the time looking for something to do a low-budget feature horror film. That was my idea. But reading scripts, I got to the story from Lorcan, which was this shape-shifting witch in the basement of a pub, which is down around my alley because I love this magic realism concept of putting the supernatural characters into normal life. And the story was really well drafted. It was funny. It was also gritty, and it was a bit scary. And for me, it was very important because, as I said, I was trying to put a feature film together to have a concept where we could see, okay, this could be a feature movie. So do it also like a business card. This is our character, and we want to make a bigger thing out of it. So we spent a lot of time doing the creature design for the short film, and I think that was what made actually the story to be so strong, that we had a really good production design team on board, and that we managed to create that iconic character that people could really relate to. And that was the starting point of the whole story. Obviously, having a character that can bring back dead people for 2 minutes creates this kind of premise that is already interesting for everyone, because we all would think about who would I bring back, who would like to talk to. And that was the kickstart of the script for the feature.
And I guess the horror genre, it's so rich, and there are lots of kind of key tropes and things that people love to kind of reference and bounce off when they're making horror films. What were some of the movies of this genre you perhaps watched when you were growing up, or sort of bled in to your film, and which things did you want to kind of bring something fresh to?
Yeah, for me, I always was interested in paganism, and I saw the witch one of these classic pagan characters. There were many influences for me growing up, because I was always full into horror. I think David Cronenberg or Brian De Palma, Carpenter, Guillermo del Toro, who is someone who has a big influence visually with me, because I really love the character design that he has. But I wanted to have a twist with this character. This character should be mysterious, and it shouldn't be the classic witch with the long fingernails and with the cracking voice and so on. We wanted to do something that was a bit different, because this witch is, in a sense, she is kind of the antagonist, but she is not really. We have to understand the motives, why she is there, and why people keep using her without actually thinking, is it okay what we are doing? Because at the end of the day, it was a human being at some point, even if it was hundreds of years ago. So for me, it's very interesting to touch on those themes, on themes of what makes a character scary, but also try to go away from this black and white that we have in many movies, not only horror movies, where you have the good guys and the bad guys, and make it a bit more entangled, a bit more in the gray area. That was one of the things that I wanted to have in the story.
And I guess kind of pulling off the visuals is one of the key elements of any great horror film. So what was your approach in that sense? It looks like you did a fantastic hybrid of that house dilapidated house, the setting, but also the witch herself, kind of that really strong look of the bag over the head, but then obviously as she's transforming into other people using CGI. So you had a hybrid approach there. So maybe you could talk us through that.
It was starting from the short film. We knew we have already a really iconic figure that we didn't do too much in what is the character design. Moname did a brilliant job in just giving it a nudge upwards in terms of the costume design. We have bigger love creating all the prosthetics, which was actually it was incredible the job that he did, and it was also a lot of work with Anne Muller, the actress that plays Baghead, because it was a very physical demanding role, and we tried to mix it. When I talked to Cale Finot, our director of photography, it was like we want to do something that looks classy, but it also looks fresh, because again we were piggybacking into this magic realism where things have to be a bit more real, like it says in the tin. It shouldn't be so removed from reality, and we tried to ground that into the camera work that we did. Obviously, you have to plan for a CGI, and we tried to make the effects to work with the story. One of the things that we wanted to do is in the transformations of the witch when she shapeshifts into the dead people, to actually show that for her it was a painful process, because we wanted also to work on this idea that the witch is a prisoner. She didn't deserve to be there, and she's been used because of these powers that she had. So that's something that we embedded also into the CGI work. And all the production design that Mark did, the production designer did, was excellent. We created this little, we were actually scouting loads of places in Berlin where we shot to find that basement that we could use for the story, but we didn't find what we wanted. So Mark ended up doing it in a set. We built it in Babelsberg, and actually it was great, because once you are in that set, you really feel, okay, this is going in the direction that we wanted to have for the witch. Because again, in the short, it was a little story. We didn't really know much about that witch, but to create the mythology of a character that has spent hundreds of years in that basement, it was important to reflect that in the objects that are in that basement, in how the basement was set up, the hole in the wall. All of these characteristics that we wanted to have, I'm really happy that they pan out quite well in the end film.
And coming to your cast, there's such a fantastic set of people you put together. Freya, who people very much know from The Witcher. Of course, Ruby's come off Bridgerton. So how do you decide on these people, and I guess work with them to develop these relationships to make those characters, those dynamics feel very lived in, very grounded, particularly Iris's relationship with her father and those interactions, which then kind of give weight to the story.
Well, I was blessed. I was blessed with casting, because the moment we knew Freya was coming on board, it made things so much easier, because when I met her, it was like, you are always scared because it's your first feature, and actors are a particular set of people, and they all, even Freya, who was at the time, I think 19, she had so much more experience in being in that kind of project that myself. So at the beginning, I was a bit concerned, but they all were fantastic from the first day. I mean, working with Freya, I always say she has such a big talent. The camera loves her, and she's going to have a great career, because on top of that, she's a pro. She's a trooper. She did all the set pieces without complaining, and she was really into the film. Everyone was. Ruby was a pleasure to work with. She's all energy, and she was kind of the counterbalance to this Freya that was a bit more edgy. But then we have people like Peter Mulan. I mean, when they told me, oh, Peter Mulan is available to do the movie, I say, who did you say? Yeah? Did you just say Peter Mulan? Peter Mulan, Peter Mulan? Yes. And then you meet him, and it's like, wow, it's even better than you are expecting. This Scotsman that is only funny the whole way through, that doesn't stop talking on set, but when you say action, is full there. Directing people like Peter Mulan is not directing, is you just stay there and they do their thing. And you might give a couple of smart notes, because otherwise they are going to look at you like, what are you talking about, mate? So it was actually, for me, it was very easy to work with all the cast. At the beginning, you always have to find your rhythm. And it's not to say that we didn't have moments where we have differences in our approaches, but I think we managed to create a good atmosphere. And again, working with people like that is great.
In pulling off, to make these things really terrifying, what were some of the hardest scenes? What was the most difficult moment on set? But on the flip side, what was your favorite bit?
That is a very good question. I didn't prepare that one. I think I was very obsessed with the first time we see the witch coming out of the hole in the wall, because I think that is the iconic moment. That is the moment where we have a movie or we don't, where people say, oh, holy crap, what is this thing coming out of the hole in the wall? So we spent in that scene like 3 days. It was also one of the longest scenes, and I was very scared because it was also the first scene that we shot in the basement, where we start really working in the basement. So I think that was one of the most difficult scenes to pull off, because we also have all the characters there. It was Iris, it was Katie too, but it was always the witch, and it was Neil. So we had all the main characters were there, and it was difficult to find the dynamics at the beginning. But I think we did a very good job in the end. And finally, there is one of the end scenes when Iris is being chased by Neil in the rooftop of the bar. And I was really scared because we did it on location. It was actually a rooftop, and we have to build it in there, and there was action and falling and all of that. And I was thinking this is going to take forever and it's going to be difficult. And in the end, it was so easy. It was one of the easiest scenes that we shot, because Jeremy and Freya were so professional. It was incredible. And it also looks extremely beautiful. So beautiful that sometimes you think it's been shot on a green screen, but it was shot on location. So many things where I think visually and story-wise, we pull it off.
And if you could just say in one sentence, what people can take away, like any great horror, there's lots of other themes in there, particularly grief. So it's the scares, but also thinking about some of these issues as well.
I think in this movie, it's a movie about grief, and it's about what people are prepared to do when they are grieving and when their brains doesn't think about the consequences. So I think that is the horror, is in grief and in not being able to move on from things that happen in your life. And that's a thing I think everybody can relate to.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time. Can't wait for everyone to see Baghead.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Lovely to chat to you. Thank you. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you.